Hi there. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about 7 principles of effective website navigation. Now, those principles are the momentum you have driving you through the website, the unity of everything together, the concept of twins, the way that you can have 2 different ways of doing something in one system, minimalism, having a simple, easy to use framework, clarity, that you can easily understand what things are, Fidelity, that things make sense, that they work well, and magnetism, that's driving you forward, drawing you to the important information. So let's go through these 7 items and let's see how they apply to websites. So the first principle is momentum. Now, people want to get to where the item is, where their task is, quickly. So navigation is what helps you go forward through the website, get in direction. Now, when you're on a website, you need to assume that people are on the page that they want to be at. So you've got to think, well, if they're here now, where do they want to go next? And how can we help get people to that place as quickly as we can? Now, if the page is not where the user wants to be, how can we get them where they want to be with things like search, breadcrumbs, and the back button? So Amazon is a fantastic example of this. So here we have the music instrument page on Amazon, and there's a few key aspects. So you've got main navigation links on the left are all about musical instruments. Of course it is. You're on the musical instruments page. What else would you want to do? The main body in the very center is the key products that you want to push people to. You've got breadcrumbs at the top, which again, deals, bestsellers, key areas about musical instruments. And then when you have the search bar, it's been pre-filtered for you to think about musical instruments. Everything on the website is for musical instruments. Now, if you don't want to go to musical instruments, that's okay. The Amazon logo has a hamburger icon. You can open that and go back to that place. But we'll assume that you want to go forward on this. We're just focusing in on what the user needs to help them move forward. 2 of the best parts of this are the woman playing guitar, and I guess it's a guy on the right, saying, well, what level are you? Are you a beginner or are you professional? Now, those are very bipolar ways of looking at musical instruments, but you're either really good with higher stuff or really simple with cheaper stuff. So that's going to push us into 2 categories straight away, which is propelling us towards the kind of things we want to do. This is a really good example of just web design helping you go forward. Second item is unity. Now, navigation items must be unified together. So you really want to keep core items together in the same screen area. Otherwise, you're going to be darting around trying to find the thing you're looking for. Well, actually, it should all be there in the center. Keep core items together. Adding a new separate navigation area does not help the user because you're moving things around, they get lost. And when people get lost, they just don't know what to do. They'll abandon it. So when you're doing this, use logic. So put items into the subcategories together logically. So if things belong together, you put them together. Here's an example from the Wiltshire Council website. Actually, a really good website. And I'm not saying that because I grew up in Wiltshire, but maybe that's part of it. So what we've got here is at the very center, we have, this is what I'm here for. And then all the tasks at the bottom. Now, I say it's a good website. Actually, it's not. It's terrible. I lied to you. This is a really bad website because who goes onto the county council website and goes, you know what? I really fancy some news. So, you're thinking, why am I there? Why is everything that's, all the bits hidden away? Maybe off the screen. And the things that are at the top, pay, report, that's kind of the task stuff. But it doesn't explain things. Pay for what? Report what? Apply for what? It doesn't really make that much sense. So all the tasks are not grouped together in a very clear way, and they don't really have that unity at all. So let's have a look at a website which does have great unity, which is the Manchester website. And this really is genuinely a great website. And I'm not saying that because I used to live in Manchester, although maybe it is that. let's have a look at why I think this is genuinely a great website. Everything is collected together in a really logical way. So we've got environmental problems, including dumped rubbish and street cleaning. So everything about environmental problems is there, big category with sub-bits beneath it. Then we've got schools, education and childcare, including holiday dates and applying for school places. Of course, that stuff must go together. We've got the big category, the top area with the small things in there. We can go forward. At the very top, those 4 areas, those are the top tasks. People care about council tax, people care about bins, people care about working, people care about libraries. Then we've got everything else beneath. This is a very logical, very clear website so that when you reach the website and you've got your task in mind, you only need to focus on one part of the page and everything you need is there. It's really, really simple to achieve your task on the Manchester website. And if you compare that to the Wiltshire County Council one, you can see it's night and day. Wiltshire County Council, there's not any real unity between what's on the page, whereas Manchester does have that. Now, on the idea of how you move through a website, there is a really important concept called twins. Twins is quite simply that you can have more than one way to search and both of them are right. Now that might sound a bit weird because people might be thinking, well, I'm looking for the best way of doing navigation, the ultimate way. Anything else is wrong. Well, it's not quite as clear cut as that. Now, for most user journeys, there are going to be 2 dominant journeys that are possible. You can focus on the objective or you can focus on the subject. So let's have a look at that. Now, I want to find a pair of winter boots. So I'm going to look in the winter activities section. And then once I'm in the winter activities section, I'm looking for walking boots. Or maybe I go to the walking boots section and then look for winter boots. Both those logics are completely valid. Your users are going to have one end or the other. So you've got to make sure your navigation allows for the objective people to find their task through the objective and the subjective people to find theirs through the subjective. Now let's have a look at Amazon again. So we've got the web page, as we all know. I genuinely think really good design. Now on the left-hand side, you can go, well, I can search by instrument type. So I know what kind of instrument I want. I know the information. Let's go for that way. Or back to that middle part, I'm going to go by profession level. I don't necessarily know what I need, but I know that it's going to be down that area. So having twins built in is a really strong and healthy part of great navigation. Now here's another example from Next website. When you hover over one of the categories at top, this big chunky menu drops down and it gives you 2 options. One is by saying got a product type, which is bedrooms and bits. And then on the right, you got collections, which is bedding. Both of them are completely right. You can get to your product either route, and that's good. The problem with this is that there's a lot of information there. It's very cluttered. So I think they could have done a better job. Maybe have tiled visuals for the collections on the right and kept the words as they are. That would have made it a bit better, in line, a bit like the Manchester County Council website, but a bit more fun and consumer friendly. But either way, this does have a great example of twins. The 4th area to think about is minimalism. Now, minimalism is a great word in design. We all love minimalism. We all talk about it, but what does that really mean in navigation? Well, the closer the user is to destination, the less navigation you need. Think about this. When you start out on a homepage, there are maybe a few thousand tasks that you could complete, a few thousand websites you could visit. But when you are in that search results and you're just one step away from achieving the task that you set out for, you don't need all of those options available to you, because you're already focusing down on what you need. So you can actually start dropping off pieces of navigation that were vital earlier, but are no longer needed. So you're only giving people the navigation elements they need at the time they need it. So your navigation, as a rule, should take the least amount of space possible. Let's jump again onto Amazon and have a look. So here we are. And we're in the music section, and there's a lot of options there. We've got the categories on the left, we've got professional levels, we've got key products, we've got search, we've got all of these items. And that is great when you're Amazon and you're selling a few thousand instruments, or maybe it's hundreds of thousands of instruments. But let's think about we want to buy one product. This is the product page for quite a nice Jazzmaster guitar. And you can see that most of the web page is taken up all about that instrument. And it's just the Jazzmaster and everything you need to know about that. There's not much navigation available. Actually, the only navigation you've got are highlighted in blue. It's the breadcrumb trails. Now we can click on an item in the breadcrumb and jump back to a different area, and that will give us more navigation options. But Amazon's assuming that you're on this page, thinking about it, you probably want to either buy a Jazzmaster or you want to add it to your wish list and somebody else will buy you a Jazzmaster. If anyone's watching this who wants to buy me a Jazzmaster, this is one I wouldn't say no to. Anyway, so when do we be minimal? Well, minimalism really does depend on the location you are in the website. You can't be minimal everywhere. Sometimes it's just not a good idea. So think about the user journey. Let's have a look at a website for UK government. Now, the UK government does a lot of things. They do most things in the UK, actually. So when you go to the welcome to gov.uk, the homepage of UK government, there's a lot here. Now, maybe this website could be made better, but the point is there's a lot of navigation options to go into everything the government does. But I'm going to care about childcare. So here's childcare section. No, childcare and parenting. Straight away, we've lost all that other navigation we're talking about. It's just navigation about childcare. That's it. Well, childcare and parenting. So I'm then going to choose the childcare part of childcare and parenting. And here we are. It guided me step by step through the process of getting tax relief for my childcare. At every stage, we've lost massive chunks of navigation, making it much easier. Because after all, on this page here, I care about applying for childcare. I don't care about what the Armed Forces budget is. Really don't care. If I want that, I go home and find a different route. So just think about every stage of the journey you're at. What do you need to give to people to help them on the forward journey? It's not about everything, it's about the forward journey and the options available there. Now, with that, it will make things clearer, but how can we think about clarity itself? Now, clarity in navigation is focusing on tasks. So you think about cost, not products, or book a trip, not schedule a flight. So you think about what's the really big picture, what we're trying to think about. Now, clarity is killed by these things like formatting, hamburger icons, and frequently asked questions. Now, I'm going to go into two of these in a big way. Hamburger items are terrible because you see that those three icons. What's behind it? I don't know. I really have no idea. So when I look at a web page and I want to do something, want to find a task, I've got to search around the whole web page, look around, see if I can find a link to what I'm going for. After failing that, I'm going to click on that hamburger icon and something will pop up. Maybe it'll have what I'm looking for. Maybe it won't. It's slowing you down. No, you're on a web page, you want to move forward, you want to achieve your task, and the designer has hidden things away. Now, actually, that can't be the worst thing in the world when you're further down the page. When you're at the very end product page, you're getting rid of everything else. Hiding everything in a hamburger could be okay. But hiding critical information that you need at that time in a hamburger icon? That's madness. We don't need that. The other thing is frequently asked questions. Now, you are on a website trying to find an answer for something. Now, it might be how much does childcare cost? Okay, I'm going to go to the parents and child section. I'm going to look at the childcare section. I'm going to look at the cost section. I'm looking at every part of the website with a title which sounds right. Maybe I'll search for pages that have something that sounds right. Maybe I'm Googling it. I don't know. But I'm looking for a web page with a clear definition of what I'm looking for. And then the designer hides it in the frequently asked question page. Well, if a question is so frequently asked, why is it not solved on the place people are already looking for it? If people are coming to the homepage looking for that thing, why don't you just give it on the homepage? Because nobody ever goes to a website saying, I've got a question, I bet it's in the frequently asked question page. It's that you go for frequently asked questions as a last resort. So you should never have to use frequently asked questions. You should always answer the questions in the place that people expect to find the information and the place people are looking for it. Now, why do we not use these formats such as hamburger icons? Once again, icons have no immediate association or meaning. They can look cool, they can save space, they can be easily translated to different languages, but that 3-bar icon, the hamburger icon, doesn't really mean anything. You've got to open it for something. And they're not a key part of the user journey. They're not anything about going forward. That's all about the back stuff. So let's look at Zara. Now, what is in here? This is a page. What is in that icon? I don't know. Well, open up and here's everything. Which one do we go for? That's just an onslaught of information. And again, frequently asked questions. Why do we even know what's in there? It's the last resort. And again, if a question is asked frequently, don't make your user find it. So here's an example of Next. So I've searched around a page on Next. I can't find my answer. I go to help. I go to frequently asked questions. And then I'm in a quagmire of all these things. There's nothing there. It doesn't even help me. So things are hidden within a hidden area. It's much better to put this information on the product pages, or put it on the home pages, put it on the search results, put it where people are actually having the problem. So as soon as they have the problem, they have the answer, not in a different part of the website. They've got to abandon what they're doing, zoom over there, try and find it. And then as a designer, you are hoping the person is motivated to go back to where they were before and solve the problem and carry on. Most likely, people will just abandon their task, abandon the website because it's caused too many problems, if they've even got as far as frequently asked questions. So second to last is Fidelity. Now, when you have a link on a website, that link is a promise. Now, you must deliver on what you've said. You must deliver on the promise. Now, if you got something saying book now, then I want to book something now. This is great. I don't mean book something in 5 web pages time. I want it now. So the button is communicating a sense that a task ahead has certain size and time. So we're promising something to the user. Now, I go onto Google and I type in Jazzmaster. You might see a theme here of my guitars. And you click the I'm feeling lucky button. Well, Google's going to give you a really high ranked result. And there we are. It's Jazzmasters. It's the manufacturer giving me all about my favorite guitar. And that is absolutely wonderful. I'm feeling good. Now, let's take a different context. Let's go to EasyJet. Now, discover a new city this December. Ooh, that sounds good. I quite like the idea of that. Treat yourself to a trip away. It's time to start feeling festive. Yep, I definitely feel that. £50, it says under £50 one way, book now. Okay, let's go. Let's get this new city under 50 quid and let's go for it. Let's go book it. That's not really what I wanted. We're now into the standard booking thing. It's not a shortcut. It's not a book now. It's a let's just do the booking in general. So the promise has been broken. The fidelity is bad. So be careful with how you name your buttons because you want to keep the promises that they work on. A better version of this would have been start your booking now, or explore now, discover now, anything like that. You get to this page and go, yeah, I'm exploring, I'm discovering. This is truthful. If you keep having fidelity problems, then you will just abandon the website in a very quick way. So that's number 6. What's number 7? The last principle of effective navigation is magnetism. Magnetism is, you got a clean website, which is getting the user to click on a link for a task, and the link can help the user with that task. Simple. We click on it, it helps us. What's the opposite of clean? It's dirty. And dirty is where users click on a link for a task, and that link cannot help them, but the user thinks this link will help them. So let's have a look at the website Ling's Cars. Well, we've got a customer's item there, right? So I'm a customer. Click on that. Customers in process. Oh, is that me? This is a list of all new cars currently being ordered by my customers. That's not my order. That's not me. That's other people. So I've gone through this whole website in a way that has caused problems. It just doesn't work. It's got bad magnetism. It's dirty. Now on this website, book now. Okay, click on that. And well, yeah, these are actually helping me with it. So this is a clean website. It's not maybe the best wording on the button, but it's a clean website. So that are 7 key principles of effective website navigation. If you apply these to your website will have far better navigation, far better design, and will be far better for your customers, making your website more effective and you more profitable.